IMOMSOHARD podcast. Please listen. Please subscribe. Please rate.
Review. And if you search it, it's hashtag IMOMSOHARD, all one word. We've heard that's a thing. We never make things easy.
But I don't understand why we have to tell you if you're already here, but we will.
Well, what if some guy was like, I'm going to stumble around in the mom space and then caught us?
Well, we are not typical, hopefully.
We're whatever. Well, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, listen in.
Sorry, I keep burping. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm sure Kristin can smell it. It's coming across the table.
We also had Philly cheesesteaks.
No, I had a Philly cheesesteak and a half.
I like them, and now we're gonna have people get mad.
You had exactly 20% of one.
I don't like them.
It's okay. You cannot like them, but
but you're mad at me for not liking it.
I'm not.
You're judgmental about it.
No, I'm not. I'm sad that I ordered you a lunch that you don't like.
It's totally fine. I'm not a picky eater.
I
ate
really
half of it.
You ate half of a half and not even a whole half of a half.
I'm going to eat the rest of that. Stop pushing me
If
around,
she
woman.
gets lightheaded and starts like her blood sugar drops and starts saying real stupid shit, it's on me.
That's because I'm having a beer and I have no shame about that.
Cheers. Okay. A little bit of business to get out of the way. So we found out that some of our shows for 2021 are getting pushed. They asked if we would move them into 2022, which
we agreed.
We're just going to do because it's a hard time right now.
It's a hard time, and here is a little bit more information. You know what I haven't thought of too? What?
It's a hard time for people with cash right now, too.
It's really hard for cash. And also, I just think we want the show to be a certain thing, which feels like this big, fun party and event.
Monster truck rally for moms.
And that doesn't feel like that when people are like, well, you can't sit next to your friends.
Yeah.
You have to sit 6 people apart. Like, it makes it hard on the theaters. It makes it hard on us. The Delta variant is crushing Texas right now. So they told us we had to move it, and we were like, okay.
Yeah.
So excuse me, I just
now
burped.
She's burping.
I'm sorry. Oh God, Philly cheesesteak burp. Gross.
Oh God.
So we're gonna move them into 2022. We're gonna be back. We can't wait. We'll get there.
Yeah.
And
I know it shows up in your email as canceled, but it's not. We just don't have the date that it's moving to yet.
The reason they canceled it is they wanted everybody to get their money back.
Oh yeah.
And then when we do the shows again, it'll be a repurchase in an effort to say like, hey, you need this scratch right now. We're not going to hold on to it for another show because we've had to reschedule some shows like 3 and 4 times. Yeah. We know that is so frustrating, but it's frustrating for us too.
Yeah. And so there's no way that we're not going to be back. We just can't tell you when we're going to be back.
We have to figure out when Fortune Feimster isn't in the theater.
I was going to say BT Dubs, everybody's moving their shows. So basically I imagine Maroon 5 is going to get the first pick of the venue.
We're not going to get first dibs on theaters for rebookings because like Maroon 5 is like, you know what? We're like, well, have you heard me play the guitar, sir?
Yeah, the Taco Bell dog voice guy is going to be here. So you guys got third
somebody
pick.
Doing like up close magic that just started in Austin, and he gets dibs over us anyway.
Yeah, he sells out everything. Man.
Everything.
He's like day after.
So we're gonna be back. We can't wait. We love the show. We've been working really hard on it. We think it's really funny.
It is funny.
We've been having a good time.
We have a good time doing it.
We're
at the point where we make each other laugh on stage a lot too.
Yeah,
because we're like.
But the first 6 shows, we were like, what do I say next? Literally, there were times I was like, I don't know what I say next.
And
what do I say next?
We'd be like, do you say something about
history? Nope. Not that deep. Do you say something poetic? Probably not.
Nope.
Do you swear? Yes. I know exactly where I'm at in the script.
It's something about a bodily fluid, I'm sure.
And that's a nice segue into our conversation today.
Wait, what do we now?
Well, we're gonna talk about the overarching battle with children in terms of how they talk to us and where they're getting that kind of influence.
Okay. I thought you were saying body fluids.
No,
is
the influence, the fact that what our kids are watching does impact them, and sometimes it's our fault, and sometimes it's everybody else's fault, and sometimes they try out new characters on us, and you just have to look at them and be like, ugh.
All right, I got scared when I couldn't follow you guys. I'm tired. I'm stressed out because my daughter, who's 6, is giving me a real run for my money right now.
It's one or the other. It's either when she's 6 or 16, and my son is giving me a run for my money right now, and he's 10.
Each one of us has. This is what I do believe about Delilah. She is hard right now. I don't think. Wait, let me say this the right way. She's not hard. She is difficult. she is.
You can just say she's hard.
No.
Jen's trying so hard to be like, this is us as parents. This is Gen Xers as parents. We're like, man, our parents would just call us a name and be done with it, and they wouldn't have to use so many words. And we're trying to be like diplomatic and give reasons and understand them, where our parents were like, stop acting like a shithead, or stop being mouthy.
Well, I know.
You're being lippy. Like,
but I felt like the way my brother was different for me is very easy for people to deal with. Like,
yeah, it's the same differences between Finn and Eleanor. Eleanor is like so easygoing.
Yeah.
She's just delightful.
Yeah.
And Finn's hard. Finn's hard for the same reasons that I'm hard. But then when Finn is fun, he's a great time.
That's exactly how I feel. I sort of feel like I see myself reflected in her behavior sometimes.
Yeah.
Where like she is hard-headed. She is stubborn. She literally asked me what the word stubborn meant the other day, and I don't know.
And she's like, I don't believe you.
Exactly. And some of those things that she is will really help her in life.
I know I think we overthink it, because like at the end, like, yes, I agree with all of those things, and I do the same thing. But sometimes, like, as of late, Finn will just say something rude, and I'll go, you're being rude. Go to your bed. Go to your bedroom. I don't want to see you right now. And if that sounds mean or harsh, I'm really sorry. But then you haven't come face to face with somebody like walking by you as you're talking as though the words you're saying do not matter, or saying, like, going like, come on, when you ask them to take their shoes off in the house, which you've asked them to do 50,000 times.
Like it's a new thing.
So I'm not going to sit there and reason with them anymore. It takes too much of my time, and I feel like I'm a bitch most of the time. So I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to stay in bitch land for 8 words, not 35 words. And my bitchy words are going to be like, I don't want to see you right now. Go to your room. I'm over it. And then I'm done. Do you know what I mean? Then they're out of my space for a second.
I think that's really good, honestly, because I said to Britt, my husband, I'm just saying it in case you haven't heard me talk about Britt before. Welcome to the IMOMSOHARD podcast.
Yeah. I'll talk about my husband, but he just got back from a 4-day business baseball trip. Not business. Where'd I get that? He went on a 4-day baseball trip, and I was with the kids because they didn't have school for like 5 days straight.
So much.
And I'm like, you get nothing. You get nothing to say about nothing.
I ran out of things to do. Yeah. Over a long weekend. You're a generous woman. I wouldn't do that. Anyways, I did tell my husband last week, I go, I forget that they don't have to like me, because I sometimes try so hard to get them to understand where I'm coming from, which this is what I mean. That my son is so logical that he will call me illogical in the form of a letter.
A letter.
Yes.
In bright pink paper.
Absolutely.
So you think it's going to be something sweet, and then you open it, and it's a crippler.
A punch to the gut. Yeah. But he did write my husband a letter this weekend and said he was not aerodynamic, and I think. and here's the funny thing.
Did he mean to say that that can be too bold in insult?
Goes, do you know what the word aerodynamic means? And Dash goes, yes, I do.
Oh no. So he's either saying, hey, Dad, you need to trim up, or Dad, you're not appealing. Like, either way. Either way, that's the best, meanest use of that word. Bravo, and you're grounded at the same time.
God, I gotta have him send me that letter, because
that's fantastic.
When I guffawed at reading it, he came over and like ripped it out of my hands and like tore it up because he was so embarrassed. But he did like include some stingers in there.
Yeah, they're trying stuff out, man. Here's what I think.
The pen is a sword, you guys.
It's funny because, if I might talk about yesterday, we did this really fun spa day. And Jen had told me that Delilah was, giving her a run for her money. So I came over, I'm Aunt Kristin, and we were doing each other's, they wanted to have spa day. It was so fun. They wanted to swap moms to do nails. And I thought that was very sweet. That was very specific to Eleanor. Yeah. She was like, Jen will do my nails and you will do Delilah's nails. And I'm like, this is a comment on how I do nails. I can read through them. This was not, she was like, and also
strategic.
She's like, I want to spend time with Miss Jen in this space, and you're not the person to do it. And I was like, I don't understand. This feels like it. I got Delilah's done in like 4 seconds, and it's like there's paint everywhere, and she was fine with it. She was also covered in like dirt, and I was like, gosh. We're better. This is in this space right now in this time. We are the match, and Jen and Eleanor are the match. And Delilah was trying out some voices that were sounding a little bit, she's trying to do the like totes and the
Saucy, spicy
sassy talk. And I was like, oh, she's trying out a character.
Yeah.
She's trying something on, because I've known this little one since she had like met the air.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's trying something on. And I think what happens is when kids are trying to figure themselves out at different stages, they're trying to like play a part until they figure out which one feels right.
Totally.
And I also blame some of the television shows, especially kids programming, which, by the way, this is not me like, fine. Yeah. It is me talking a little shit, but like there are some shows on like Netflix and Nickelodeon where the whole thing is like, show a kid being a snot. And then that looks like a person that has power. So then they're like, oh, I want to be strong and powerful and have words, so I'm going to try that.
Yeah, they identify with the villain. And I do know that like where she's at right now is feeling not powerful. Like,
she feels very unsure of herself.
You were oldest child. I was youngest child. Yeah. So you are never going to be as smart. You are never going to be as big. You are never going to be until you're like are old enough to not give a shit about who's what.
Yeah,
you know?
and then mom likes you better. She's like, oh. Wait, there's been a shift.
Not my mom. That's different. That's very different. Like I always knew. Which is why I threw her under the bus earlier. But it's like she really does. And you guys, I'm just going to say it. It's like palpable. Like my brother's husband said how uncomfortable it was when he first met us to see like how much he hated being around me and loved being around my brother. My brother and I, this one time we were studying for finals in college and we were at our house. And we were so loopy. It was like 3 or 4 in the morning. We'd been up all night studying. And we got this crazy idea to put like all of her like cake decorations all over the house. It's just to see like if she would find them.
To your mother?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? I question this behavior. See, I'm the oldest. I would have been like...
They weren't frosting. They were like little plastic things.
No, I get it. And she's very organized. Oh, God.
Yeah.
You had that coming. I hope she spanked you at 20.
She did not.
Did she lose her mind?
On me.
Oh, yeah, because it was your idea.
No, it wasn't.
It was 100% your idea.
Oh, my God. Why? That seems like a thing I would come up with. Have you met my brother?
Jeff is really soft-spoken and sweet, and I don't believe...
No wonder you get along with my mom so well. Oh, my God. It's not... It was really... It's okay. Whatever.
Are you telling me it wasn't your idea? It was Jeff's idea?
I don't remember exactly whose idea it was, but the execution was fully both of us. Mm-hmm. Like, and I remember seeing him like do one. I was like, she's gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And then in the morning at like 6 a.m. I heard Jennifer Christie, and I was like, and who else? Who else?
Oh, yeah. Is there anybody else?
I swear to God, my brother was there for it. You ask him about this. He came downstairs, like we both came down at the exact same time. And she goes, what did you do? And I go, Jeff did it too. And she goes, and like slapped his arm. And I looked at him. I was like, you remember this the rest of our life, because this is the most like concrete.
This is some bullshit.
Some total bullshit.
I will say I've gone to great lengths to torture my parents. I still, like, anytime I can give Terry a run for her money, I do it, because I feel like she has it coming. But I spent a good part of like, well, when you were studying for finals, I was doing a long game prank. So I should have been studying, but I went to my parents' house, and in their basement, or like in the, like, you know, you get a full basement when you live in California or Nebraska that comes with the house. It's not like a cellar, it's an actual like dwelling.
Yeah.
And so in their like cute little den in their basement is all of our pictures on the wall, you know? And so of course, because I'm the oldest, there's 1 million of me, and there's like 2 of my youngest sister. So I spent the better part of like 8 hours filling every circle in every frame with a picture of me, so there wasn't one of my brother and sister.
Funny.
Like I literally, like I had old headshots. I took old pictures of myself, and I like fully took the frames down, put the picture in.
God.
So when you walked in, it looked like I had died, because there was so many. They were like, "What happened? Why this brag wall of this person?"
Yeah.
And it took. I didn't say anything. I just let it ride, and it was like months later that they figured it out. I think it was my sister who was pissed.
Absolutely, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, it was perfect.
As the voice of Megan here, I will say I would walk down into the basement and go, that's what you wanted anyway.
Yep. And my parents both laughed, and now they tell the story, and my sister's like arms are crossed, and she's like, she's getting the glory even after she's been an asshole.
I feel bad about was with Dash, because he's got the mindset of being like very logical. I can say to him, and don't play with the lawnmower, it will cut off your fingers.
Yeah.
Delilah, she can be like, but let's just see.
Let's see. Maybe glitter comes out.
And like, it doesn't, he gets it when I say it to him. And I also had a lot more patience in explaining stuff to him at those very young ages. Now, like, there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I have less patience, and it's all less cute. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
And I don't do as good of a job explaining it to her. I swear to God, I know I do. I know that I don't do as good of a job.
You know what it is? When you're a new mom and you've got first baby, you feel like the entire universe that you've ever known it literally has just turned upside down. Everything that you know about your life is so different in an instant. The second that you find out, for women, it's the second you're like, I'm gonna have this baby. The second the other part of it is you have this baby, and then dad's like, oh shit, this is real life. And then baby doesn't sleep, or you're nursing. So it's such a different kind of workload and like mental strain. And then when they're like 10, it's like you've been working at the same job for a long time, and you know how like to deal with like office politics, but you're not exactly happy where you're at. You're not going to promote. You're not going to demote. You're just in like purgatory. So that's how you deal with your kids at that point. You're like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Go upstairs. Like, I sound like that, and I'm sure that's not very kind, but I'm not going to, I do reason with them when I feel like they're listening. But right now I'm like, I don't want to spend this time reasoning with you when we've had this conversation 45 times.
Yeah.
One day when I walk into the bathroom and everybody has flushed, I will be like, okay, we can move on to the next point.
Yeah.
Somebody's putting the dots together. Well done.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that like at this point, you can over-explain, and I don't know about you, but when I start telling my kids something and it's important and I'm having a conversation with them, I'm like, nope, they've soft-focused. They are now thinking about Muppet Babies or the Nintendo Switch or what skin they're going to get in Brawl Stars, and I have lost them and they don't care.
I get that. It's interesting to me too, though, that like Finn is your oldest.
Yeah.
He's the one that's tough for you now.
I also think, and this is just me speaking from my own experience.
By the way, I'm not crying. My allergies are bad.
It's same, and I keep hacking. It's great. I think there's a difference in gender when it comes to like, also it's birth order, like oldest, youngest.
Yeah.
And it's gender. And mine is oldest boy, yours is oldest boy. And like, I think Dashiell and Finn are carrying some of those same, qualities, but I think Finn is older and we're in the 5th grade range, which everybody knows 5th graders are a-holes, and like we're down that path. Like, I just see like he's trying it on. It's like Delilah's trying on this one character. Finn's trying on, I'm going to just be a little bit smug. I'm going to be a little rude. I'm going to like try it out and see how it feels. And sometimes it goes away and it's delightful. And he's back to his sweet, warm ass self who comes up and gives me no reason hugs. And he's sweet, and I just want to be around him. And then 30 seconds later, I'm like, nope, we're back. I don't know which one's staying around, but
I don't want to get too into this, although because I know it'll frustrate you. But
what?
Dash and Finn are the same zodiac sign, and so
they are,
and I can see both of them they're Pisces.
Okay,
they're both like literal, logical, like sort of a brain where 1 + 1 = 2 kind of
also
thing.
Kind of like old men before their time.
Yeah. And if you say something to them, they pretty much take it at face value. Now, what they do with that is a whole like different thing.
Yeah.
Delilah, I sent her sign, a description of her sign, to Britt the other night when she was like super bad and we didn't know like kind of what to do.
Yeah, you're calling like psychics, you're like looking in the stars.
Like, how much are exorcisms? How much is that? You know? So like she internalizes everything. You can say to Dash, you know, I'm gonna, and we did when we're having this conversation with Delilah, we said, you know, being sassy and being mean and stuff like that right now, you might see that working for kids. You might see them being popular or being interesting. But eventually, they will be the kids that are looking around for friends because they've burnt people from not being kind. Like, ultimately, you need to be kind. I worry about saying that to her because Dash will go, okay, my marching orders are to be kind, and I can decide activities that's kind and not kind, or things to say that are kind or not kind. I worry about with Delilah, and this is the thing that like a Cancer is she internalizes everything.
So you think that she would take kindness as weakness?
I think she would go, oh, okay, maybe I'm not a nice person, or maybe people don't like me. Like, she's not going to take what I said literally. She's going to like manipulate it in her brain, because when she was like melting down and Britt was tagged in, he was in the room with her, and she was trying to get out, she said to him, I want you to leave so I can figure this out. I don't know what to do, and I need to figure this out on my own. But we're so committed to like, no, that's not what your family is. Your parents don't leave you.
I would have been like, yep, that seems right to me. Write in a letter.
Well, oh God, there's definitely times where
I think a little you time is exactly what you need.
I have said these words to her no less than 3 times this week. Get away from me.
Yeah.
I have, but in that moment,
the, like,
Britt was
mom
saying
stuff
to her,
that's hard to talk about, because we're at an age where our kids people can pass judgment. Like the stories of a baby pooping its pants in a department store, we all go, oh gosh, that comes with the territory. Yeah. They're in diapers. What are you going to do? But when you have a kid who is at the age where, you know, they say something that is clearly rude, or you're uncomfortable, and you're like, oh God, you think this is like a known behavior that is not cool. And that person can be thinking that my kid isn't nice, or I'm not doing a good job. And that's when
they start giving you advice and shit like that too. I mean, we've always worried about like when they're in timeout, they're not there alone. We're there with them. We're like,
oh, I don't do that.
I
enjoy TikTok during timeouts. I give them timeouts just because I need one.
I mean, I don't stand there and stare at the wall, but I'm like, no, I'm here with you, and I will let you know when you're out, so that they don't like suffer alone. You know, that they're like, you're not abandoning them because they're bad. I'm not saying you're doing that.
What? Jen.
What?
That's crazy train.
No, I read that.
Oh God.
What do you mean?
They don't know. They don't think you're abandoning them. You live in a beautiful home. You guys like to be home. You're in another room. Like, maybe a little time for her to think on her own isn't so bad. Like, the whole point is like for us. Now, look, everybody's got their own thing. But our thing is like family time is like fun time. And especially if you get in trouble at school, we have a strong rule. Trouble at school, trouble at home. No question. Yep. By the way, Eleanor way more times than Finn. We say, man, we were really looking forward to we play board games. We were dorky. We do whatever. We go out and play like miniature golf or something out in our backyard. And I'm like, guys, you got in trouble at school, or Finn, you got in trouble at school. Eleanor, you got in trouble at school. Now you don't get to do this. And now we miss out.
Yeah.
We miss out on the fun because you're not a part of it. Because you being a part of it makes our family whole and the fun really fun. Yeah. So now you got to go, up in your room, make yourself busy, no screens. And I'm really sorry. And like, them like looking out the window is like, I know it seems like, but I just feel like if they don't know that there's a consequence, if they don't feel a consequence, they don't know what they've done is, is that the word consequential?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the right way to use that word?
Well,
I didn't remember.
When we started doing timeouts, and I read like 3 parenting books, which isn't to say that I've read
none, so I'm not doing great.
Which isn't to say that I don't know anything, but the one that really made sense to me was 1, 2, 3 Magic, and you train them on doing a timeout by the time they're 18 months, and then you have less trouble getting them to do their timeout. You keep adding minutes onto it, like based on their age and stuff like that. So I usually with Delilah, always with Dash, I have to say the word 1. And he's like, oh God, because we would spend 45 minutes. Sorry, you have to do the timeout. Put him back in there.
Yeah, that's super nanny stuff.
You have to put him back in there.
Yeah, we did that too.
We just got real lazy with Delilah, though. We just did.
So did we. Finn, I potty trained Finn in like 24 hours. I'm not kidding. And the only reason I did that is because I knew we had 2 babies at the time, and I was like, I am literally living in shit. I do not want to do this anymore. Somebody's got to poop in the potty because we can't go to the grocery store. I am changing diapers
that's all you do.
Public. And they're never together. It's never like, I'm going to poop and I'm going to poop. It's like, I'm going to poop in 30 minutes. I'm going to poop. And then all you're doing is cleaning poop.
Absolutely.
So I was like, I'm going to train this kid. I read a book. I trained him. I did it. We did it. It was great.
Yeah.
And then Eleanor, different equipment. And I would forget that we were like in the middle of potty training, and then she'd be drying and she'd go pee pee, and it would just go down her legs, and I was like, oh, I'm doing a terrible job.
Yeah, because you just have more balls in the air.
Yeah, the second one gets like, I always say like my grandmother didn't even know she had my mom because she was number 12 out of 13, and I think she just like popped her out, and she was like, let's see, what are we gonna name you? Give me a second. They're all taken. Yeah, and then like my mom, that's a lot of like. I think you're very hands-off at that point. You're like, I don't.
I get that. One of my friends was dating a guy. He was one of like 6. I think he was 6 or 7. Tons of kids. And she was like, yeah, I don't think his mom likes me. And I go, his mom doesn't care about you.
Yeah, she was
over like the 4th one.
Yeah,
like,
she hasn't had an opinion since
She
1972.
gives no shits about anybody right now. She has no energy to do it. And I just feel like two shouldn't be that hard, but it has been really hard. And it is the TV thing too, because
TV's a trick, man. And now they know, like, I think you said this, like, they know you can do everything you want for your kids not to see something, but they're going to see something.
Oh, yeah.
And they know they're not supposed to see it, whether it's on screen or even somebody else's iPhone that's playing in public and they see something on that, or they see billboards have been a killer for us. There was a billboard that was a disgusting huge eyeball.
I can't believe billboards anymore.
And my son was like, what happened to his eye? And I was like, oh, God.
I sound like Tipper Gore. I hear myself. I'm like PMRC, but I'm like, I don't need your boob boot ads on the middle of my frickin' street, man.
Oh, my God. Or like,
maybe you don't make good enough boots if you have to have a pair of boobs to market them. Yeah,
I think they're marketing both. And
but
we drove by
where
a sexy shop, and Eleanor was like,
why
aren't those mannequins wearing any clothes?
Right?
Why is she just wearing underpants? And I'm like, oh, God, I don't know. Like, they're going to see something. Totally. They know they're not supposed to see that because they can tell. And then that becomes their favorite thing. I always say that if elementary teachers taught math with the word fuck in it, our kids would be doing trig by 5th grade.
1,000%.
They'd be like, I fucking love an algorithm.
My husband said to me the other day, it was like, so Dash knows F-U-C-K. He came and spelled it to me and just wanted to be honest that he had heard it in a YouTube video.
Yep.
And I'm like,
I'm my kid's mother, so they've heard.
Well, they heard you say it.
Eleanor
but that's
always
different.
goes, say it, then Eleanor goes from another room. I'll say like shit. I really try not to say the F word, but I have whenever I hurt myself.
I just tell them that you're Dutch and that's a Dutch word. It means
I don't cuss in front of your kids.
No, I know.
But Eleanor always goes, pay me $1, and I'm like out $32 every 2 weeks. She's made so much money from me, and I pay it because I'm like, you're right. Like she's the only one keeping tabs, So, but Finn and Eleanor, they know like right now, Finn is trying to do this thing where he like fake smokes. He doesn't even see anybody. Like I told you, he's doing it wrong. He's flipping his fingers upside down
anymore.
And I'm like, it doesn't even look like you're smoking. I'm not going to correct you. But when we were kids, we had candy cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like they are taking in everything around them and playing cool with the things that they see. Like Finn thing right now is like acting like he's got a cigar and he's like a army guy with a Nerf gun.
It's identifying with somebody like power. That's why I'm saying Delilah is not literal or logical, and she's an artist, and so she watches some TV show with like little witches with weird colored hair and stuff, and she wants to be like sassy McAdams, and I'm like, absolutely not.
Well, sassy witch is a good thing.
For Halloween,
I know that cartoon and I love it.
I know
it's really good.
But don't they use? Is that the one I'm thinking of? There's a couple that we watched the other day that I walked into the room, like listened to it for like 15 seconds, and I was like, "Who on earth told you could watch this?" And it's like rated in there because it's not dirty. It's just really fucking mean voices. Yeah, and that's a habit.
That's a thing too. Is as a mom, I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but you're like, oh. There's things I wanted them not to see just because they don't even know that it exists on planet Earth yet.
Absolutely not.
We watched because we were in the pandemic, we loosened up, and like we would always go to this website called Common Sense to look at like what the ratings are for like a movie, and like sometimes you just forget. By the way, watch any 80s movie again that's PG, you're like, oh
E.T.?
my
Penis breath?
Penis breath made me laugh so hard as a kid. Guess what I wanted to say all the time? Penis breath.
I know, mine are going to say
hilarious.
That. I will say, and
I peed at that part. I laughed so hard. And then my mom was like, Kristin!
I do remember, I told my kids, I was like, you're going to love this movie. I watched this in the theater. And I know that they will love it. And at maybe 15 minutes in, just shortly after that, they both started saying Rotten Tomatoes. And I was like, you guys are fools.
Yeah. This is
total fools.
It's so fun, though, when they get to see a movie that you saw, and then in a minute, you're like, oh my God, I know what part's coming up. Like, Girls Just Want to Have Fun is pretty tame.
Okay. I got to write that down because I'm going to
except for 2 parts.
Oh,
and
I know.
Tune in Tokyo.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Where's the remote? Where's the remote? Like,
I
you know,
about
you
that.
can't stop it. Like, if Alexa plays today's top hits, always it's like starts out with like every F word and super bomb word.
Oh God, we don't do that. We don't. Everybody thinks we're nerds. We do. We still do Kids Bop. I just like. There are things I can control, and damn it, I will control them as long as I can.
But here's how backwards I am. My kids gravitate to that stuff, and so I've started to use it against them. My daughter only wants to play Lizzo and what's that other song with what's the guy he used to be a judge on The Voice, black guy,
CeeLo Green. Yeah.
So she's playing CeeLo Green's song because it's got cuss words in it.
Oh yeah.
So because of that, she wants to play these songs, and I'm like, man, I'm at an impasse here. Do I let her listen to cuss words and then want to play better on the piano, or do I?
I know.
They're going to use swear words in public, and I'm going to be mortified, and it's going to be my fault. But I'm trying to figure out what are the things I'm most concerned about. And I think the thing I'm most concerned about is behavior, which, by the way, is kids programming. They're always mean to the adults. They're always snappy with each other. I don't like the way girls are portrayed with each other.
I said girls you're not going to watch a show where girls are mean to each other because they're not like that.
Now, I do think we're in a new wave. I think there's a new world out there where we're getting to see like girls play the problem solver, and we're obviously seeing more girls in science and math.
My husband actually says there's not enough for boys. He feels like right now, like there's so many things that girls love, and he's having trouble finding shows that dash legs.
Yeah, I think that's a counterbalance to a lifetime
it's part of the
of us.
Overcorrect. It's
an overcorrect.
I get it.
It's going to come back full circle, and I think that boys are going to have to learn to relate to a girl in a certain character role,
it's not
as
weak.
opposed
It's
to
just a human.
me wanting to be Indiana Jones or any lead man for a long time.
You know that I had Incredible Hulk blow up muscles and would put them on during the show and then do his like roar thing.
Yeah. So there you go. If we have to identify, if our heroes are going to be men, then their heroes can be women.
Totally.
If my son, I mean, this is not where my son's head is right now because he looks at Gal Gadot in a totally different way, different episode.
Yeah.
But he he's identifying
I don't know.
Other things.
I loved Wonder Woman when I was a kid. And I looked at her exactly the way he looks at.
I was like, look at her run.
Is she human? Because she's literally not.
She's not. She has the roundest butt. It was so great.
Oh my God, Oliver is just perfect. She had like purple eyes. She was like
Linda Carter. Oh
my gosh.
She was like
she's perfection,
glamorous, and she's drop dead gorgeous to this day. By the way, she's
sure.
like still like her eyeballs and her hair and her like perfect smile. She's a big animal rescuer, so I don't know. I'm just more in love with her.
Yeah, why don't you go hang out with Michelle Pfeiffer, you bitches?
Yeah, why don't you guys hang out together
Perfectly
and be perfect,
aging, beautiful women?
So, but I do think that like now as a mom, I see like these examples of behaviors, and I'm like, ooh, I don't want that. And also drinking and smoking and stuff. Just because I didn't know that I needed to get in front of that, there's some of that I'm like seeing people get drunk. You're like, oh, they don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Like, and we need to have a conversation about that at some point. So you're just as a parent, you're always like, oh man, it's like you figured out this math problem. Can we do 10 more just like it? Nope. We're going to add on one more complicated obstacle to make math even harder.
I just did the other day. Where did I bring the kids to when we were driving?
My house. Sorry.
No, I said something. I'm usually not calculated, but I try to be like pretty aware of what I'm saying. And it was like somebody driving, somebody on the street. I said, probably on drugs or something like that. And they said, what are drugs?
I know.
And I said, oh, I didn't want to like lose the opportunity to have that be the introduction. I said, there are things that are bad for your body. They might be meant for good, but too much of anything is bad.
Yeah.
So there are some people that take too much of things and it poisons their body and their brains. And like now I'm going to have to keep reinforcing that point. But that was my own fault. I like stepped in that one. I didn't know I was going to have to like bring up drugs, but I sort of like we are sort of like rule follower kind of in our family where I want to have this conversation about sex. Please, everybody, light a candle of intention, say a prayer, whatever. Because I want to be able to say to my kids, you know what, when you're like in middle school, you're going to want to kiss people. And like, that's okay. You don't need to like.
Just wear a condom.
Nope. No penis goes in anywhere. We don't do that.
I'm just saying, if you start using a condom just for kissing, you will use a condom for all the other stuff. It'll just become...
Well, that's not any fun. So I have no interest in sex. Yeah.
Well, you know, and this is part of our live show. We had the talk with Finn, and it did not go well. It did. Here's why.
Well, tell me though. Really, how did it go?
Not well. He screamed. He screamed.
He screamed.
He screamed because my husband just look. You cannot, first of all, if you're trying to make a point with him, you can't go on a tangent. You got to stay the course. And when you're talking about intercourse, I was like, just say it. Just say the last part. Because he just didn't know about the penis going in the vagina. And so as we were saying,
it doesn't make sense.
I was like, oh God, is this like a loss of innocence? Is this like the final? And he's sitting there, and then my husband says it, and then he was like, what? And the second we got off of that, we got on to that subject, all of a sudden it had like very quickly spun out of control into like stranger danger, and then we were like, it's your rules, your body, and if somebody tries to touch you in a way that makes you uncomfortable, you have every right to kick them, punch them. And then Finn is taking that as like, cool, I get to punch and kick people, like, and we're like, no.
Yeah,
we are talking about sex here. I can do only one thing at a time.
Oh my God, we all drive into that train wreck. I say that all the time. I'm like, you're not allowed to bite somebody. Although if somebody tries to steal you from the store, you bite their fucking fingers off.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh God,
I'm swearing a lot.
We literally didn't know what we were doing, and I don't know if it like even landed, but I've done my part, and now the school can take over.
I jokingly say, like, I now it sounds like I'm giving advice, and I'm not. But
you can't give me advice.
I feel in my heart of hearts, I feel it at an emotional level, and I've checked it with my logic. I've like checked it with experts.
Yes, Dashel.
Okay, that having your kids be able to like that those conversations don't kill anybody is a really good thing.
Yeah.
To say that you can say to your kids like, hey, drugs are a really bad thing, and like sometimes like the drugs that you get for surgery,
we have that conversation.
They're good for you, but they can really hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, and just like this weekend, maybe that's what it was. There were like 3 overdoses in Venice, comedians that did coke on fentanyl, and then the actor passed away from, and like I want to be able to say to kids like, there's no conversation that we can't have. I hate it. Like, but let's be logical about it. Like, let's just like come to me and say, oh, somebody touched my swimsuit part, you know? That didn't feel right. That made me uncomfortable.
And now Aunt Kristin has a rifle, and we don't know.
Exactly.
And she is smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
And where does her Finn get it? Like, this. Yeah.
And I always say to him, if you don't know, say no and tell me.
Yeah.
Let me make the decision. Say no and let me make the decision for you. And for the rest of your life, God, please.
Yeah.
Say no, and then we'll talk about it and help you deliver the decision to anybody about anything.
Yes, and that's the way that makes you a teammate. I told Finn, and you know, because Finn and I he's just pushing boundaries with me. And I go, I want you to know this. I will always love you. Always. So no matter how mean you are to me, no matter how you talk to me, no matter the mean things you say, or how, like, I will always come back for more because I love you no matter what. No matter what mistake you make, no matter if you did something you really regret, I'm going to always love you. So just know, if you can do that to me, if I'm always going to come back, you have a responsibility to me to be kind. Like, I can't stop loving you. Yeah. I'm always going to be loving you. So you've got to choose to be nice to me. I deserve you being nice to me. I get it. I'm going to seem uncool. I'm not uncool. You're uncool. I didn't say that, but I was like, you wear shirts with puff paint, so
I don't do that shit.
I don't do that. Mine are expensive.
Even the ones you made me. I don't
you know, you're wearing those shoes are not cool. I don't know how to tell you that you cannot wear orange and red. It's a faux pas, but I say nothing. But I just want him to know that my kids can come to me and go, I did this thing and I'm really sorry. And I go, I'm gonna still love you. This is not conditional. This is me saying I love you forever. And now we're gonna figure it the fuck out. Like, now I'm gonna go take charge, because I told Eleanor, I said, I just want to game this out, you guys. the drug conversation with me is like happening all the time when we're on dog walks. I'm like gaming it out so much so that Eleanor's like, I get it, Mom. Can we talk about something else? I'm like, no, we can't.
Feels like you might have a drug problem. You keep talking about it.
I know. I'm like, look, if you go to a friend's house and let's say that your foot hurts and your friend says, oh, just take this. It's in my mom's cabinet. It'll make your foot not hurt. Are you allowed to do that? She goes, no. And I go, exactly. I said, you're not allowed to take anything anywhere that anybody hands you if it's not from your parents, because we will talk to the doctor first.
Absolutely.
So like, that's because I am literally terrified of like these opioids and these things that look like, because I wonder if I would have done it. If I would have been at a party and it wouldn't have been a beer and it wouldn't have been a joint, which at the time was illegal, would I have done it if someone was like, oh no, it'll just help with your cramps? And then I took it and I liked it. Like, it's so easy.
Hands down, I would have.
It would have popped it. I think I would have done it.
By the grace of God, I did not.
I don't know how I didn't either. And I think it's so different. It's so easy to come by. It's given in a prescription bottle, so we all think that's okay.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want my kids to think that's okay. So I always say, you're too young to be in an altered state. Youth is your drug.
Yeah.
Youth is your right. You do not get to alter your state.
Well, that's why all of these little tiny things feel like huge things, because it's like a ship leaves port and it's off by an inch. It ends up in like South Africa instead of England or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I worry about that.
Based on that metaphor, I will tell you right now, I'm going to have like 5 dinghies around the boat at all times. I swear to God, I'm going to figure out a way to have spy cams that I am attached to. I'm going to be like, hey, we're, sure, go ahead and go to the mall with your friends, and then I'm going to follow him.
My husband and I have said, if there's a way to implant a tracking device in our kids, we'll do it.
100%.
Is that a thing? Or can we legally do that yet? Because I want to.
My mom had spies everywhere because she was a high school teacher.
Smart.
So she would get reports. She would go, if I went through a pretty rough bullying phase in junior high, and she was just making sure I was okay. Aww. And so she would go, I heard that you were pretty upset at this point or whatever. Aww. And Terry was handling it behind the scenes, which I just didn't know, because she's like, she knew that if I knew and the kids knew, that would come back to me. But she always had her ways. She was like full straight. Yeah. Mafia bitch at that point.
Terry doesn't
mess.
Shit, man.
Yeah. And then, but she would check on me, but she knew everything. Like everything that I was doing. I was like, who's telling on me?
I think you'll be like that. I think I'm less like that. But I did think of this thing when you were talking about that conversation you had with Finn, where I remember being like a shitball kid at, tween, early teen, whatever it was. And my mom saying like, why do you always talk to me this way? Yeah. And now I get it. Like, because I remember saying, it was like when my parents were divorced, and I said, because you have to love me. Yeah. I can't call my dad and tell him I'm mad. Yeah. Because I am too young. Like, I knew what my limitations were. And that is like the Spider-Man, like, incredible gift is incredible responsibility is you do have to take it. Yeah. They're going to tell you some stuff you do not want to hear. When you open those lines of communication, you're going to hear some bad shit. Yeah. They're going to break your heart 1 million times.
They're going to break your heart, and you're just going to have to sit there and take it. And that's why you got to go out with your girls and come see a show. Honestly, my son goes, Dad's the funny one in our family. Oh. And I was like, I get fucking paid to do comedy. What the fuck do you know? What comedy special have you done, sir? I didn't say that, but I wanted to. I just sit there with my arms closed, and I'm like, do you think the only thing I do is run an air fryer? And if that is the only thing I do, you should be thanking me for it. Well, because you'd eat raw chicken and have crap yourself 2 ways from Sunday.
In that letter that Dash wrote saying my husband was not aerodynamic, he also told him, you're not funny.
Oh, how? Yeah. There are things that cut to the quick.
He said too, he's like such a smart little kid, so logical. He goes, I didn't mean it. I said it to hurt your feelings. Like, yeah. Then he had a total breakdown because we were watching America's Got Talent. And when you see the parents, when they get like moved on to the next thing,
forget it.
The parents are happier than the child is for
and
like
it makes me bawl every time. And this is me. I go, and then the kids are like, again? I'm like, how dare you?
And Dash asked, he goes, why do the parents care more about it than the kids? And Britt said to him, 20 minutes after he writes this really shitty letter about the aerodynamics of my husband, who's working on it, by the way, he goes, because you want things for your kids more than you want them for yourself.
Totally.
Dash, heave balls. He is unconsolable bawling because he feels so bad about having written this letter just to hurt Britt's feelings.
He's like, I didn't realize Dad was, he's maybe not aerodynamic, but he's very sensitive.
I know. And then Delilah's back there just sharpening her knives.
Yeah.
She is.
She's like, and God bless her. You know, they're all coping in different ways. They're all moving, it's bobbing and weaving all the time. And we just hope to stay in front of it. It's like literally, it's a never ending game.
Yeah.
And every kid is different. And you have to like take the good with the bad. And honestly, I've really learned that like, I have to like kind of let it roll off my back. Because if you don't, you're going to be a mess.
Oh my God.
You can't listen to their words. They don't mean it.
Oh, you know what?
You can ground them.
Well, mine doesn't care. The TV has helped. And actually, her not watching TV for a day has helped. But you can say anything to Delilah. You can be like, you're not going to college. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
I think actually Eleanor is the only thing she cares about.
We use friends as leverage all the time.
Okay.
We're going to the mom box.
So we have a mom box. This, I feel like, wait for it, because you're going to be like, we've never gotten a compliment this cool before. All right. This came from State of Mind. Hey, girls, I just wanted to say you guys are the absolute best. I love all your stories that never fail to make me smile. You both remind me of the crazy, fun ants I want to sit around and laugh with. You have no idea. That's our ultimate compliment. Yeah. I also super enjoy the positivity you girls radiate and how you make not only for others being a mom, but personally, as a 15-year-old girl,
oh my gosh,
being so comfortable and relatable. You guys are truly amazing. Kayla B. Yes, I love it. I'm sorry I swore so much, Kayla.
We're not sorry. That makes us cool.
Okay. But isn't that the best that a 15-year-old listens to us?
Yeah, that makes me feel really happy. And it's nice to know that she listens in.
Oh
and
my
I love being the aunt.
That is totally who we are.
It's the best compliment.
It's
fun
the
ants
best.
are the best.
Yeah, yeah.
My Aunt Mary Lou and my Aunt Joey together were like the most ornery two women I've ever met. And they also put my mom in her place, which I really enjoyed. And I think I've told this story before, but my Aunt Mary Lou and my Aunt Joey drank too much wine one night and they colored each other's hair before a wedding. But they got she's a brunette and Joey's a blonde, and they got the boxes mixed up. Well, and so when they came to the wedding, they looked like calico cats.
I love that so much.
But she always is the feisty aunt that I hope to be.
God love feisty ants.
That's cheers our podcast. To that. That's our podcast.